That is the basic of them. Then they ended up killing people. Every now and then, they've been killing people. Fight against the nation and all. Then, unbelievable, we have helpsmen killing people, rampaging everywhere. For what reason? And you know the most powerful thing? All of this, the age group of those who are involved are Nigerian youth. And for obvious reason, unemployment, quality of education, you know, no infrastructure. Even the ground for them to work for themselves, to build an independent house for themselves is not being provided. It took them a very hard work for the Nigerian youth to create a kind of a niche for themselves in the music industry and the movie industry and the multidisciplinary. And then somebody now somewhere is calling and saying that Nigerian youth are lazy after when you deny them of the form of survival. I think it's time for a revolt. Yeah. A revolt must come by vote. And that particular revolt by vote, we're talking about almost above 65 million Nigerian youths. Now, and the last election was won by the president, 15 million. 15 million. And then if we get only 30 million out of it, I can be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is my fate.
Because there's a hue and cry that a younger person should lead the country at this time. Do you think you fit that description? Are you a young man?
Relatively, I have been working since I was in secondary school. And I remain consistent where I am as a National Conscience Party member. We call ourselves NCPite because I believe in the ideology of the party. And coming from the fact that I started at a very, very early age, and considering that I'm within the age of rank of 50, relatively, I can call myself a young man. But it's not entirely about a young person. It is about the paradigm shift, the shift, a class race against those who have kept us in perpetual poverty and those who intend to take us out of that particular wood. And I am one of those particular people that believe that we need to take ourselves out of those particular woods. I have been agitating for a younger, within the age group of 50, 55 for a very long time, and records can show that. So within that class, I belong.
There will always be issues that politicians will use as campaign slogan or points or promises. But in terms of actual delivery, it's not that easy getting into offices and then meeting the expectations of the people. And I'm sure a lot of politicians can attest to that. It doesn't lie with just an individual getting into that position. So how do you intend to ensure that, look, number one, you even get there? Do you have the requisite structure? Do you have the support base? How are you going to gather? How are you going to rally people to see reason why they should support your cause?
It is already clear. Many Nigerians already have tasted the strategy and the governing ideology of the PDP. We've seen what the APC, who have promised you with a lot of propagandas, and up to now we cannot establish some of the promises that they've made. They've even run away from even their manifestos. Very clear. They have not been able to actually identify what they intend to do because right from the beginning they were not ready for governance. Nigerians have seen it. Today, many Nigerians are in abject poverty, which the National Conscience Party intend to eradicate. And I agree with you seriously when you say that it's not easy. When you are out of government, you can create. In fact, they say talk is cheap. But when the reality strikes you at the face, then you have to know how you can deal with it. The true situation is that many of our leaders have not been open to the Nigerian people. You need to be open to Nigerian people, and they believe in it. I say this without any doubt. When you are in governance, you must be able to clearly explain to the people what you have on ground, what you find on ground, what you have on ground, what you intend to do. Or, as I said earlier on, now have a discussion with the people. This is what is on board. What do we do? And this is our problem. Right from that beginning, you are already clearly indicating to the Nigerian people that this is where the situation is.
Is that not being done at the moment?
And no. You are here when they took over power. They said they didn't know that the enormity of the problem is that much. That's an indictment on your side. When you don't go into water when you don't know how you can swim.
Yeah, but do you know that if you're outside government? Do you know what the
when
deep
you are
things
outside,
that go on inside?
when you are outside government, you need to do your own strategic research to know exactly what is happening. You may not get close. There's a possibility of plus or one minus. You may be able to get to know that this is actually the situation. As it is now, it's very, very clear. Nigerian economy is not moving well, even though they are telling us that we are having a large reserve and all of those, but yet the people are in abject poverty. What is the correlation?
So what will you do differently?
Oh, what we will do differently is what we're going to call it a people-driven economy. The people-driven economy is that where the people themselves has a say in how their own economy is being managed. There are very wonderful Nigerians outside this country. When they know the actual situation of this country, they will give you good suggestions. Nigeria is not a poor.
How is that going to work? People-driven economy.
Yeah, people-driven economy, because they own the system. They own the idea. They give you suggestions. This is where our problem lies. If you want us to contribute in paying our taxes and economy, this is where we can be able to generate so X amount of money.
So wait, I don't understand. Are you going to have a minister, or is it going to be what, a group of ministers or a group of economists?
We will have a think tank from the universities and then technocrats and those who are actually practicing in the market. That's when we tinker with actually the situation on ground. I'm a masses-oriented person. I've been on the ground.
Where has this worked? This strategy of yours?
Oh, in many countries, when you say me, you may be calling it a socialist idea. You may call it a socialist idea because in that way, the people know exactly that X amount of money that comes into the coffer is actually executed in certain area of money. It's a socialist idea.
How are you going to tackle the differential between the sums that are spent for salaries every day?
In fact, it's appalling. It's unbelievable.
And capital projects.
Gemba, it's very, very unbelievable that today, the government of the day celebrates payment of salary.
Celebrate?
Celebrate, yes, now.
How?
When you come out and you say that I have just finished paying salaries of so man that I was old and all, you are celebrating it. It's unbelievable.
What would you do if you got into a state or at the federal level, and you find that the wages of the civil service constitute about between 60 and 70% of your entire resources? What would you do? No,
the truth about it is that we need to, like I said earlier on, we need to establish what the situation is on ground.
Yeah,
if you now
we're hypothesizing.
Yes, now we are now hypothesizing
if you
find a scenario of this nature, you need to get the attention of the people. This is exactly what we have in our coffers. But we can generate X amount of money if we work together. And then we can be able to take care of this particular, but the huge amount here cannot take care of everybody. But we can work together to get X amount to take care of that.
What does working together mean?
Well, working together means is that when you listen to you, people have confidence in you. Then you sit down and make a drawing board. Let me give you an example. What is the difference? What you're doing is.
Are you going to sack some people?
No. The issue of sacking, the issue of sacking does not come up at a particular, because they themselves can give you ideas on how to go about it. Let me give you a clinical example about the private sector and the public sector. The private sector will come up with an idea that will put it on the table, they will discuss in management and all. This is what we have, but we cannot generate this, we cannot pay this, we cannot pay this. Then the management team will think, even with some of the workers, what do we do? They give you ideas. When they give you ideas, then we now work together and bring up. Look at this beautiful edifice. It's private sector driven. And I know management give tax and they work together as a team. You listen to each other. But in the public sector, it's so difficult. You only pass the directive from top below.
But management too will take some tough, unpopular decisions as well.
Of course, but that tough decision, those tough decisions will be taken in consonance with the people. That is where the people's need comes in. Because it's very, very important. Because when you forget about the people, then you are not managed. Because actually, what you are there for is to manage the people. Now, let me give you a scenario.
I'm afraid we need to.
Let me give you.
We need to wrap up at this point in time. But
all right.
I'm sure there'll be several other times that we'll be able to explore some of your ideas, suggestions, even the socialist ones too.
Yes.
Dr. Mr. Tanko is now the presidential aspirant of the NCP. Thank you for coming today, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
Well, back in a moment. Join us again.